Hello, good evening, legends. I'm your host, Clearwater, the Clearwater Sports Report, live right here in Leesburg, Virginia, Loudoun County area, that is. Today, legends, I'll talk to you guys about the fact that Manfred has decided to pretty much drop the 70-game season, that is. He for some reason he decided to he's rejected. Talked to us about the fact that a former NHL star says he was sexually hazed and terrorized. By the way, I'll talk to you guys about the fact that Rachael Ostovich was suspended from failing a drug test. By the way, Juneteenth, and wrestlers speaking out. Even also the Blue Jays and the Phillies, they had to close the facilities down because numerous individuals test positive for the coronavirus. Nick Watkins has the coronavirus. Clemson has 28 cases of the coronavirus. That is, so that's not gonna look good right there. And that's all I'm gonna get you guys into for sure, and many others. So I'm gonna start things off with just the fact that Manfred has rejected a MLB proposal for a 70-game season. That is, he says that he has until he wants to get this over with. That is, but he's gonna have to speak with the owners for sure. That's what he's gonna do. So the MLB did lay out a 70-game season, but that proposal was rejected by Rob Manfred, and obviously the season may not be playing this. MLB season may not be coming back this year, so obviously it comes into question right there that remains. So that's all the news you gotta know. Also, others I want to point out, by the way, former NHL player by the name of Daniel Carcillo, he says he was terrorized and sexually hazed during his time at the CHL and the OHL. Carcillo says he got peed on and spat on by veterans. He got smacked on the backside by a goalie stick, forced to attend sex orgy parties. Players were forced to masturbate in front of teams and sexually assault teammates. Players have also had to condone each other's saliva, semen, feces, and other bodily fluids. They had to consume, that is, and basically sticks. They had to shove down shit. They had to shove down sticks, food, and others in their anuses. It's not looking good there. Carson was terrified, was traumatized, by the way, and Carson was looking for punitive damages from the CHL. So that's all. That's how that all went down. I do apologize for mentioning that, but that's just simply the reality right there. Also, I want to address to you guys about the fact that the eight individuals, 5 players and 3 staff members of the Phillies, they had the coronavirus for sure. Phillies closed their facility. A Blue Jays pitcher, he had the coronavirus. He had coronavirus symptoms, by the way. So the Blue Jays facility, that's closed down for good, and that's not going to look good right there. It's unclear if baseball's going to start or not. That's the question that remains. Also, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they had to close the facility down due to the coronavirus concerns after a player that is tested positive with the coronavirus. Not going to look good right there. Clemson, they had 28 cases in the coronavirus of 315 student athletes and staffers, and it's very unclear which sport there is, basketball, football, baseball, or any of that, but they had 315 students in there and staffers, and they had 28 cases, so this is not going to look good. So hopefully the coronavirus slows down. Nick Watney became the first player in the PGA Tour to withdraw from the RBC Heritage after he tested positive for coronavirus. He's in isolation, that is, and he will be on the recovery mode. So that's priced out to him, by the way. Hopefully he makes it, which he must. Also, some other news: Rachael Ostovich, she got a 1-year suspension after testing positive for a banned substance known as Ostarine, by the way, which is a non-specified substance in the class of anabolic agents, and it's a prohibited substance to an anabolic steroid. She tested positive through a urine sample during the out of competition collection, by the way. She'll be back in camp, and she's going to return in September. So that is pretty much all you guys got to know for that. And Rachael Ostovich, she'll be back. She may have got 1 year suspension from failing a drug test, but she'll be back in September. So another one to be said right there. Also, some other news I do want to sort of point out. By the way, everybody, I want to say happy Juneteenth, everybody. And I know a lot of you guys, are pretty much, you want to end racism for good. You want to end. I know we all want our voices heard. We all want to make that change. Because racism has been a big issue in everyone's life. I know it's June 13th. Juneteenth is the wakes of George Floyd's death toll, and even in the wakes of all the other death tolls that have occurred. This is the way to end police brutality, the way to end, racial injustice or racism in any way. But obviously, with all that's going on, I mean, racial injustice, racism, social injustice, and speaking out, it's been a big issue, though. So it's just awful news. So hopefully something goes right along the way. So that's all you guys got to know just for that. Just want to point that out, everybody. And even though Jordan Clark, that is, his teammates were eating lunch at Whataburger, and they had to get money from somewhere. They couldn't go in. They had to go through a drive-through. They asked this lady, they said, "You got any money for anything?" I said, "Yes." And then what happens after that is that she calls a manager that is of Whataburger, and basically at the end of that, she calls Jordan Clark, this Ryan Clark's son, a racial slur that should not be used nor tolerated. And it's a shame. It would have been a whole lot worse if something happened to Jordan Clark or to any other black individuals. That would have been over. This cannot happen anymore. This is absolutely unacceptable. Because they can't, black individuals, they can't be in this kind of situations. I mean, the foul language, the racial slurs that shouldn't be used or tolerated, it's unacceptable. And nobody isn't going to take it. They're not going to take it anymore. And it cannot be tolerated in stadiums. It cannot be tolerated at work zones. It cannot be tolerated anywhere. So I hope you guys get the help you need. I hope for once there is change. I hope for once there is change. There needs to be an end to police brutality, racism. We're all equals. We all are. So it's been a big issue. A lot of people have had to deal with, especially in the wakes of George Floyd's death toll and Breonna Taylor's death toll, even though one cop was released, by the way. So that's a big surprise. And those two other cops who actually murdered Breonna Taylor, all three of those cops need to be arrested and charged all at once. That's what everyone's looking forward to. I can tell you that right now. So hopefully that ensues. And also some other news I want to point out. I want to point this out, by the way. And yesterday, a lot of women spoke out. That is, the hashtag Speak Out, by the way. And you're seeing all these numerous wrestlers being accused of incidents, and some individuals, some wrestlers, some like women, that is, and guys speaking out on incidents that happened to them in the past, whether it's sexual assault and so forth. I want to point out just a couple of just a few names here. I want to point out a few names, and it's not going to surprise anybody. I can tell you that. Now, the names: Matt Riddle, by the way. He was actually accused. He denies the sexual assault allegations against him by a indie wrestler by the name of Candy Cartwright. Matt Riddle says the allegations are completely false. Now, this happened, in 2018. And basically, says the allegations in the female wrestler are false and attempt to harass and humiliate Mr. and Mrs. Riddle, tarnish their reputation in their community. And basically, now WWE issued a statement right here to anyone speaking out on the hashtag Speaking Out, by the way. And it says right here, now WWE is looking into this for sure, especially Jordan Devlin as well. And Joe Coffey, that is. And it says right here, now WWE issued a statement. They said, we take any allegation of this nature very seriously and looking into the matter. Individuals are responsible for their own actions. And WWE's got a zero tolerance policy for matters involving domestic abuse, child abuse, rape, misconduct, sexual assault, groping, and all the others. Upon the arrest for misconduct, a WWE talent will be immediately suspended. Upon conviction for such misconduct, a WWE talent could be terminated. Ability to fine, suspend, or terminate WWE talent will incontrovertible evidence of such illegal misconduct presented to WWE. And this is made from Candy Cartwright. Now, I really don't want to read you guys the full statement, by the way, but Candy Cartwright, who's an indie wrestler, who is also an indie wrestler, by the way. Well, things don't look good right there. So here's what I want to say to the wrestlers out there. Thank you all for speaking out your minds. And I know that a lot of work industries can be a bit toxic, and relationships these days, they don't go well. And if you want something, you want to address it, do so on live camera, and you can have your voice. And basically, you can have your voices heard. And also, Jordan Devlin, who's the current cruiserweight champ, by the way, and former cruiserweight champ, by the way. He's being accused of abuse of an accuser, and by name of Hannah, and also this accuser would be named Hannah Francesca. Graphic photos saying, "Scary, really scary. Jordan Devlin did this to me, and this is just the physical damage, not including my arse and back bruises, because I don't fancy posting that online. Most of wrestlers and fans staying silent. I hear you." To the abuses tweeting their support. "I see you." Responded for support of Francesca's allegations. "I feel like we're all waiting for someone else to go first. Scared to see you and love you as well." The entire wrestling world's had to deal with harassment and abuse controversies in recent days or recent years. Many indie wrestling promotions, severe times when any wrestler David Starr, who's under fire after an accuser by the name of Tori, came forward sexual allegations. And obviously, there are things you cannot do, whether you're in the sports industry, whether you're in the work industry. It's supposed to be a safe place, and obviously it's not. So if any Kalo fanatics were in these kind of situations, or if any Kalo fanatic was a victim of heinous sexual assault and rape, misconduct, or domestic abuse, or any of that, talk to somebody. Tell someone that this incident happened from years ago, I guess, in 2014, 2015, so forth, and speak the truth. That's what you gotta do. Sierra Loxton, who was a retired indie wrestler, a retired UK British wrestler, she sort of started. I think she was the one that started this whole movement, and a lot of women out there are just how to speak their mind. You're seeing all these wrestlers out there speaking their minds, and you're seeing them just plead their cases. And I could tell you this, that certain numerous wrestlers could be getting released. Now, if you see anything that sort of comes up, just notify someone. And a lot of you guys are courageous in what you do, and that have occurred to you from the past or recently. Just notify somebody and tell them that this incident happened, and tell them that you tell them what went down and whatnot, really. So it's just really just a shame that we're living in a country. It's just a shame that we're in a year where there's so much turmoil, so much hatred, so much racism, and all this speaking out, mental health illness and speaking out, racial discrimination and people speaking out. All this that happened in the past. It needs to end. Whether you're just any kind of individual that's accused of any incidents, that has to end. There needs to be change. There needs to be a sense of fortitude. There needs to be some sort of way just to end sexual violence, to end racism, to end all the hatred, to end the racism, for goodness sake, which really needs to end for once. And I feel like, hey guys, I feel like you're warning guys for the situation that you guys have been at. It's okay to speak out. All right, don't be alone. You're not alone. It's okay to speak out in an instance that that have occurred to you in the past or recently this year or what so forth. But enough's enough. Enough of the racism, enough with the hatred, enough of racial discrimination or social injustice, enough with the rape, molestations, even enough with all those sexual abuse, rape, misconduct. That all has to end. And if you're that kind of person that is accused of this incident, your carcass is out the door. Your carcass is out the darn door. Or if you're a person that speaks on your mind of an instance that happened to you, of this person, someone that did this to you, you know exactly who you are. You know exactly who you are, what you did. So if you're someone that is a victim of a heinous incident that's happened in the past, sexual assault, molestation, rape, misconduct, speak out. It's okay to speak the truth. It's okay to speak your mind. It's okay to just, yes, it speaks volumes, but we all got to have a voice and we got to use it. So I know it's Juneteenth and I know it's a way to end slavery, but we got to speak our minds out. We got to speak the truth. We have to at least plead our cases, what we got to do. So, end racism, end bullying, end violence, and, molestation and all that. So it has to end. And I think that it's got to dissolve. It's what it's got to do. So that's all you guys got to know for now. Even though last year, Asma Sorrow, she died of apparent suicide, and she said that she was raped on a military base overseas and kept quiet about it by WWE. She killed suicide, not that she was apparent of she died of suicide. Don't forget her story. And it's really awful news though. So really, it's just a shame that the entire country has had to deal with this, has had to deal with stuff like this, whether it's from overseas, whether it's from the entire country. We all need to make a difference. We all need to make change. We all need to, try to be more reliable. We all have to check ourselves, the difference system public justice. So that's all you guys got to know for now. And that's all just speaking out. I know it's a big trend out there, but, it's obvious that Matt Riddle may probably or may not show up to SmackDown, even though Matt Riddle's supposed to show up to SmackDown tonight, by the way, because even though he's under fire for an alleged incident from 2 years ago, and Candy Cartwright is the person that's accusing him of this incident, and the hashtag trend of speaking out is one thing, Matt Riddle may not show up tonight. I don't think he will. He's a nice little thing, but it's just an awful that 2020 has been a complete dumpster fire. I know a lot of you guys are really, the coronavirus issue and racial injustice, so racism, social injustice, and people speaking out, mental illness, even Pride Month and all these things that have just happened. I mean, 2020 has been a complete dumpster fire, and people are getting sick and tired of dealing with all the same BS that's happened to them in the past. And no one wants it. They want it to end. They want to live the good life. They want the opportunity to just be themselves. I honestly wish that none of my Khalil fanatics are accused of any instance like this. I honestly hope that if any Khalil fanatics are victims of these incidents that have happened in the past or in the present, speak out. So that's pretty much all you can do, everybody. So keep that in mind, folks. Keep it in mind. So get in your systems, because obviously you guys are pretty much gonna need it right there. So that's all you guys gotta know just for now. Now on some other news that Mississippi's got to change their flag, by the way, because it has a bit of a Confederate flag with 13 stars. They got to change that flag.